after. Except the natives of Fernando Po. It is quite tempting just to kill them, but those events can save you years overall. Good, France keeping himself busy in wars. Although it's just against poor Avignon. Poor Avignon. Right, once I get my second colonist, I think I'll bum rush national focus into admin. Get myself towards my second national idea. As Milan, my starting duke, died just as the heir turned 15, prevented me from Ambrosian Republic. Isn't that good? I thought Ambrosian Republic was awful. Okay. Both these provinces go to Savoy, and I take all your dosh. And do you have any alliances or anything I want to break? I actually want you to keep those alliances because they're nice and weak. But I don't want you giving military access to Austria just in case they come to pound me. So break your treaty with Austria, please. And it prevents you from making one for 5 years. Looks good. Although I didn't get any bonuses for Switzerland losing provinces. Oh well, we're still in the green. And you don't love me for that? Let's change that. And let's get our alliance with Aragon. 25 dip points. Fortify Gabu. That's a great mission. We're having it. Gives you free manpower in that province, although my manpower is awful. It's still one I want to take, because it's not something you can get very often, or very easily. Alright, I know we just signed an alliance, but to be honest, you're not who I'm looking for in a man, Aragon. So goodbye. Don't like this hemorrhaging money thing, though. But I don't want to stop paying my troops in case the ones in Fernando Po die. I think they'll suffice on that, though. And we'll get Davide Ardorno over there. Only you, esteemed leader, can lead our colonies to greatness. Oh, okay. Right, I can remove my focus on Diplo. I think I'll remove it once I get enough to get these two ideas. Oh, but if I get all three, I can full annex Congo whilst they're still pagan. Okay, that's a pretty good idea, if I say so myself. Gothos, he actually cares about how I'm doing. Well, I'm doing quite nice. Thank you very much. Wow, you're culturally converting these lands to Lombard? Why? And thank you. Reich Reform, which works well for us. That's great. In fact, that's better than great. But why would Savoy do that? You've got diplomatic level 6. Maybe 7's just too far ahead and you've had a string of amazing diplo leaders. Whatever the case, I'm grateful for it. I want Lombard to be unified. Well, all of Italy cultures to be unified under me. Emphasis on under. It gives our manpower a good chance to recover. Still, we're at the limit there. We're a little over the limit, but I'm not too concerned about that. I'd rather have a lot of galleys. Ragusa will soon become part of our nation proper. Byzantium's still having trouble there. Come on, Ottomans, bring it on. Just bring it on. You will see the power of Poland, Lithuania coming down on you like a ton of bricks. Although you'll probably take Ragusa from me. Might be in my interest to keep my galleys stationed here to ward off the Ottomans if they ever do come. But my naval limit kind of sucks. Ugh. 13 galleys. 19 galleys. You probably have a leader on yours, although I can't see them just by looking. Might be an idea to consider getting Byzantium's rightful clay back to them. The Ottomans have been doing awful though. So stinted. They've managed to take 2 provinces and they were already their cores. Okay, and Albania, but who's keeping score of them? In fact, the Mamluks are well on track to put the hurt into them. Why, Ramazan? Why? Jake, when will you continue with those awesome city building games? Ah, come on, there's only so many hours in a day. I do love my video games, but I'll get round to it. Also, an expanding Trebizond. That's something to get excited about. Shame I have no way of getting claims around here. I could get Venice to return that province to Byzantium, but it would call in the coalition, which does include Austria, who really doesn't like me much. But my aggressive expansion will go away. I'm not suspending a diplomat for 3 years, heavens no. My spy defense has dropped, but that's okay. You'll have to be quick, Jake. Congo converts very early sometimes. Well, thanks for the heads up, Marvin. I shall endeavour to destroy the Congo. I'll get my 2 colonists. I'll be able to set up there, and where else looks good? This is all tropical, but I really want Gold Coast. I want it more than you can imagine. Which means I should probably prioritise getting my troops down into here. After all, I can defend myself up here just through my vassals and my best buddy France, who is integrating its final vassal and will probably want to integrate Savoy after that, and are allied with Castile, my arch nemesis. That could be a problem. That could definitely be a problem. France could crush me just by looking in my direction. So really I should be expanding through Italy, but all this coalition nonsense is... Oh, and Ferrara allied with France. Papal state, vassal of Aragon. Can you still transfer vassalage in peace deals? Jake, are you going to change religion? Yeah, I want to go reformed. It is, after all, the greatest religion. That isn't Muslim or pagan. Alright. Get superior naval morale after this as well. Great. Now you were too far away, weren't you? I do want the Gold Coast, I want it pretty bad. But maybe I shouldn't worry too much about it, since it's I'd have to kill all the natives as well. 9,000. Didn't I have 11,000? No, I lost some. Harumph. Okay, let's go and deal with that Gold Coast. But I'm going to slaughter all the natives on it. Right, fortified Gibbity Gab. We cannot convert it, so don't ask. Save the Lombard people of Sardinia. How I would love to. France would help in. And I would quite like Sardinia, no doubts about that. Declare war on Aragon, France does all the fighting, I stroll into Sardinia and I take Rome while I'm at it. Because I can take Rome. Everyone would hate me, but hey, I'd have Rome, who cares? I'd rather have Rome as a vassal though, so I can integrate them. Save me the trouble of Roma. The rebels on Constantinople are peasants. Surprised they haven't broken the country yet. It's not like they're at war. I'm also surprised Byzantium hasn't sieged it back. Because it is kind of hurting them in every way. Turius says, geez, all this militaristic expansion, what about the trade nodes? What you don't understand is this is all for the greater good. For those trade nodes. Gee, fighting Aragon, taking that. That's all I'd have to deal with, and they'd have this. Mind you, we'd probably sink my fleet, so you guys stop your piracy and get home. I want my fleet to be well clear of this first. And you guys camp up in these horrible mountains. Preferably the Savoy ones, since there's all that support limit, all that juicy support limit. I need to pay my troops as well, because they're going to fight some pretty hardcore natives now. So once you guys are in the clear, we'll work on Gold Coast. Still got my colonial enthusiasm for another 3 years, that's good. Oh, right, what am I doing? I need to get my troops over to Sardinia. Plus, wouldn't I be able to take on their navy? Aragon? 19 galleys, probably not so hot. This war idea might not be my best. Still nothing a couple of mercs can't take care of. It's not like he's building troops here and I only need 2,000. Yeah! Excellent timing for Ragusa. DDR, why do you want the Gold Coast so bad? An excellent question. You see, in this area, Gold Coast, other than Benin, is the only important centre of trade. Now, the AI doesn't like to colonize tropical provinces, but it does like these centre of trade modifiers. I need to make sure I'm the top dog on top of that, for reasons that will become very apparent in about 150 years. Hope you're around for the long haul. Alright, let's take our save the Lombard people of Sardinia. Who loves you, baby? Unfortunately, we won't be able to loot the province. But France should be able to smash their troops down before they get any that could really mount a counter-offensive here. Again, we do the double march, and that way we take no attrition. 150 years, I sure wish our great leaders had such foresight, if only. Now this is going to be heavy going, so we want all of our cavalry and our best leader. Unfortunately, you are our best leader. But with our new tactics, this should be a dawdle. Still a few days before the Gold Coast is done, though. Lose money or gain or lose stability? I can afford to lose a bit of dosh. Oh, right, that I don't like. I may have to bring my galleys back to show Aragon who's boss, but man, they've got a lot in total. A good chunk of that's England, though. Another month tech, and then we should be good. Also got a free diplomat. Who should we try to impress? Probably Austria. Don't want them breathing down my neck. Oh, thank you kindly, France. That's going to help us out quite nicely. Save me, France. They're after me. Right in the Parmas. Breach straight away on Sardinia. And it is time. Onwards to the Gold Coast. Almost guaranteed to produce ivory. Truthfully, it borders a gold province, which is Ashanti, which is why you're unlikely to get gold in Gold Coast. Should have seen that one coming. But I didn't. Well, at least I don't have to pay them anymore. Okay, folks, murder these natives for me. The natives, oddly enough, take the terrain penalty, because that's how it works. But there we go, no more natives in Gold Coast, which is good for me. We'll get our troops back to Gabu, which is slightly more important. Whilst I consider the situation here. Those ships would decimate me. And he has better combat ability for galleys than I do. Mind you, his homeland is in great peril. Jake, could you tell us more about the mechanics that determine the trade goods produced in a colony? Okay. Every trade good has a list of regions that it can be produced in. You can check regions on the region map mode. This region comes under Brazil and Amazonas in South America. This area is known as just Amazonas without being classified as Brazil. It's also classed as South America. Unfortunately, I can't see much terra incognita to explain this on. This area, it's called just South Africa. If you scroll up, it suddenly becomes known as West African Coast, Central Africa and Congo. For example, grain can be produced in a whole number of different places, and there's, I think almost all goods have about a 6-month mean time to happen event after a colony reaches 300 people, where that good will spawn. So it's weighted random, so it'll look to see. It'll take this province, Grain Coast, for example, and it'll go Grain Coast is in West African Coast and Central African Coast. So there'll be events that allow goods to spawn there, and I think it'll include grain, slaves, ivory. Those events will allow that good to spawn there. Gold is less likely than all others, and if gold province touches another gold province, then it becomes even less likely. Not impossible, though. You could end up with almost all of the Siberian region able to produce gold, producing gold. It's just unlikely. I like the semi-random nature of it. However, some places like the Japanese region, the only good that can possibly be produced there is fish. So you're guaranteed fish when you colonize the Kurils and the northern Japanese island. Oh, that's nice. That's very nice. Just when my colonial enthusiasm was running out, I get it for another 5 years. Okay, I don't like this blockade. I don't like my provinces being under siege. And I don't like being outclassed on the sea. And I sure don't like England being involved. But if England just goes away... He's going up north, so this is my chance to get over to Languedoc. I had hoped that the sudden rush attack on Aragon would have prevented him from landing troops here, but he probably took them over from Sicily. Naples and England are involved, but it seems that France has a thing or two to say about Italy. Meanwhile, I just cower away. Okay, so slaves in Fernando Po. I almost always see slaves in Fernando Po, which makes me wonder if anything else can be produced there. It gets classed as West African coast, so grain would be possible, no doubt. Slaves are a hit or a miss. I absolutely don't want to lose my navy in this. Yeah, this could have been prevented if I had just stationed a bit more in the way of troops to Corsica. But I didn't, and now I'm paying the price. I wonder if it's worth getting a someone in charge of this navy. I want to win the battles, but I don't want to spend the diplomatic points. What's a man to do? Well, the best I can hope to do is catch the fleets separated. I'm the only one bringing galleys to this party. 29 is a bit too many for me to take on, especially since they're led by admirals. Alright, we'll take a chance here. Foreshock. Could be a winner-winner chicken dinner. But I need to take on these fleets separately. Whoa, okay. 2 heavies, 11 trades, 10 galleys, 8. And you're going to the Western Mediterranean Sea, so you would be the backup, a backup of 9 more galleys. I don't fancy my chances here. Especially if there are 2 heavies involved. But with you making your way to the Western Mediterranean and into the Barbary coast, I could single you out. Especially since you seem to be going to Barcelona. Ah, you're unloading a troop to Barcelona. Okay, don't like England being there. With 10 heavies and 11 transports. In fact, I was lucky not to run into him there. That Twitch delay. The greatest. Right, Corsica's down. I'm just going to have to swallow my pride on that one. Not that we'll lose this war, but I do want Sardinia out of this. Oh, in Naples... Ah, the personal union held. And Brittany is a vassal of England. Okay. Things is all looking a bit weird here, but okay. Now, how can I separate these folks? Good thing my colonies are all very set up, so really this is dead time anyway, but... Harumph. Right, Naples is making his way around, but I don't know where England are. Well, that's where England are. Can I rush? Can I rush these guys before England make their way around? At least I've got places that I can strategically stop off. A strategy. slow this down a little bit so I can keep my wits about me. England are on their way away again, and Aragon is unloading troops, which keeps them tied up for a week or two. Right, there we go. Can separate you folks out. You're moving away on the 17th, but I should have time to destroy you. Especially since you just merged there, you fool. Prepare to learn the Davy Jones locution. Okay, let's get naval superiority one battle at a time. You cannot hope to beat the galley swarm. 20 stack of Neapolitans. But you're going towards the... there, huh? I'd be cornered without anywhere to go other than Naxos. I like it. Don't like that creeping war exhaustion. A lot of that coming from Corsica. Okay, so you've changed your mind and you want to return to the Sea of Crete on the 18th of September. I end up in the Sea of Crete on the 19th. So really I should just stay there, crush you. So I'm looking at the long... no, they're still there. And I don't see any backup. Okay, so my fairly poor dice roll is made up for by my much better general, and when I do get a good dice roll, it's good night Neapolitan ice cream. Alright, that has severely evened out the score in the Mediterranean. We're only looking at 11 enemy galleys. Still, my troops took a bit of a beating there. Give them a chance to re-get their strength. Aragon, still thinking he has superiority, has pulled his troops away from Corsica, whereas I am ready for him. Give you a monthly tick, get you back to Liguria, and get our troops back onto Corsica. With our Supreme Giovanni. Aren't you in Pokemon? Why does Jake have so much more navy morale without tech? Well, these Genoese national ideas that everyone poo-pooed gives me 20% morale. So put that in your pipe and smoke it. You Catalans, you think you know a thing or two about independence. Now, it's also a concern. I should have been keeping my eyes here so I could see if England were making their way back into the Mediterranean. But I didn't, because I'm a fool. At least we have good war score from battles. 14 makes up for not having Sardinia, somewhat. Right, there he goes, but he's got 2 heavies in that fleet. 2 heavies that I'm not overly keen on jumping on towards. We're toe-to-toe in terms of military technology. We will give you guys a moment of rest here before we destroy. Right, so he's going south, that's good. Gives me fantastic opportunity. Now, even though he's occupied this land, it still counts as my own, so it only takes me about a couple weeks to land on Corsica. If I were to try to land on Sardinia, it would take me, well, I don't want to cancel it to show you, but it would take me until the middle of February at least.